Hello everybody, and welcome to another book tour, sketchbook tour. I was only saying the other day when I finished one that because I've got so many on the go all the time, it's really rare that I finish one. But actually, I've been looking through my collection of sketchbooks, which is embarrassingly bigger than it should be. And there are a couple of pages in each one and they'd be done. So that's what I'm sort of concentrating on now. So there'll be a few sketchbook tours. Before I start, please excuse the state of my hands. I've tried and failed to put a felt tip marker lid on several times by the look of it. Them's the breaks. I'm actually preparing papers at the moment for my collage birds and flowers, and so everything's in a mess. However, I have cleaned this part of the desk, and what I would like to show you today, and if you have a look at the other sketchbook video, you will see, which I will try to link in somewhere on the screen, I'm assuming, you will see a difference in style. Now, this is not because my style has changed. A lot of artists will often say they don't have a style or they're waiting for a style to develop. But actually, sometimes you can just sort of almost multiple personalities in art, and you can have several styles. So this sketchbook, it's still mixed media, but there's a bit of more gouache in this one and some illustrations and bits and pieces that I was playing with. So let's get started. And yeah, it's mixed media paper. This first one was a Calm Turbo prompt that I was doing for Crixus. And this is where I realised that I have a lot of trouble sketching foxes, and I wasn't very happy with the result. It's okay, but it's not one of my favourites. And this is the thing. This is what a sketchbook's for. You don't want to necessarily frame everything. However, you do want to play and you want to see what works. So this is what a sketchbook's for. This one here is Inktense pencils and a soft sgraffito method that I was working on. Again, I really like some of it here. These textures and the bricks and so forth like that work really well. The roof tiles. It was an autumn day. This is what our place looks like in autumn. Everything's quite sort of rusty and orange and lovely. But yeah, nice playing there. And I've actually done a full tutorial on my Patreon about my soft sgraffito technique, which is super easy to do, actually, a lot easier than it looks. And yeah, so if you are very interested in that, you'll find the link below in the description box. This was another Crixus one. And I do remember this day because I had a wisdom tooth out that day, and I thought, I don't want to do anything except come home and feel sorry for myself and maybe do some art. So I did this, and her prompt was tea time, and I'm very interested in printing, but I don't actually want to do any, if that makes sense. I don't know, I'm not quite there yet. It'll happen, but I found it a little bit fussy, so it isn't. And people who print, and when I say printing, this is screen printing. This isn't. This is my fake attempt with gouache and fine liner because like I said, I was feeling sorry for myself. So I just did something a little bit easy. Same prompt, bake this time, which was what was supposed to be me in my kitchen. I don't like doing people. I don't have any, I don't know, they don't work for me, but it's all right. It's doing what it's supposed to do and baking it. And it was Christmas time. So, well, actually it was October time. So not quite Christmas. And then as you can see, it takes a real leap in style. And this is what I'm talking about. This is also my style. And I like this one better. This is me. This feels like me, if that makes sense. This, it's okay. It's a woman looking out of a window. And again, what I had done at this point in time was painted on all of the nice sides, but I realised I could also paint on these other sides, of course, and use my sketchbooks a little bit more richly. So whilst I don't mind this illustration style in its place, and probably if I ever do people, this is the style I use for people. And that's what I mean. You can have multiple art personalities. This is the style that I use if I'm painting buildings and the sea and things like that. And I really love the way the light is on that. It's just, yeah. If I had to rescue one of these from a bathtub of water, it wouldn't be this one. It'd be this one. Even though that was fun as well. This one here, again, another style. This is all gouache. Most of this book has gouache in it in some form or another. And then there's coloured pencil and fine liners and things like that. This one here was another art prompt. Again, it's a person. You can tell it's a person. It's just, they do nothing for me. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are you a person painter, or do you prefer animals? Do you prefer scenes with nobody in it? Yeah, what are your thoughts? Here again, I like this. And this sort of gouache, it makes me happier than any other sort. I mean, I really like painting with acrylics, and I haven't done any for absolutely years, but I had bought some gouache paints and I wondered, well, I mean, what is the range for me with gouache? Because a lot of people don't like it, and it is either used as a poster paint with big flat areas of colour, or else people say it goes muddy and horrid. See, I don't mind muddy and horrid because I quite like muted colours. That's the thing. So these aren't particularly muddy and horrid, I don't think. Some people might disagree and say, well, you know, there are areas here that could have been left off, or they're overworked or whatever, but this is what I like to do. And then I love the velvety finish of the gouache, so that I can go over the top with my coloured pencils. And of course there's some white marker work in here and some black gouache, just simple sort of up close silhouettes that give us a bit of perspective. Here again, mainly gouache, colour pencil, and yeah, I like that. And of course back to this again, because I don't know, I'm a bit terrible at completing prompts. I've completed a couple, but mostly I will start them with huge enthusiasm, but then my work gets in the way. And you know, if there's a prompt coming out on a day that's also a deadline day for one of my writing, I write full-time for magazines and I write books and things like that. If I'm on a deadline, it doesn't matter what prompt is coming out, I can't do it. I have to get that, obviously get the writing in and be a bit grown up. But this is another, again, a person, supposed to be me, don't know, and obviously gave up completely. Quite keen to capture these effects with night scenes and then lit windows and the glow from that. So that was a bit of fun. Again, it's a sketchbook. I'll come back and put something in this page. Like that might get at the moment it might get a collage bird in there. I'll show you when I finish. I have a few to do. This was another prompt about walking in an autumn sort of forest, I guess. Yeah, you know, it's a park or something like that. And I had this mad idea that Chinese lanterns would work in it. I don't know why, but again, sketchbook. Then a little bit more serious stuff. This feels like real art to me here, air quotes there. Of course, it's no more real than anything else anybody ever does, but it felt more grown up than some of the other ones. That is simply my prejudice. Please don't write in. Love that one. That was fun. We lived in Norfolk for 9 years, so we had lots and lots of windmills and things like that around us. Well, not lots and lots, but more than a lot of other places. Yorkshire, sheep. Very wet looking sheep, actually, probably reasonable. And a nice red barn. Again, gouache. Gouache is really nice, and I can do as much with gouache as I could ever do with acrylic and oil. So I'm kind of happy about that, because it's easier to clean up than acrylic, than oil, because water. And what I love about gouache that I don't love about acrylic is the fact that I can leave it and come back and the paints have all dried, so I just re-wet them. And let me just show you, in case you haven't seen this in another video, my gouache palette is famously a mess. And as you can see, the paint's all cracked. Some of it's not, because I used it the other day, but some of it's cracked. So what I'll do is I'll spritz it with water to wake it up, then just sort of use it. And I do this all the time. The first thing I did when I got my gouache paints was to get a palette that was empty, fill it up and just leave it. I can paint when I want to. I can't do that with acrylic. And because I've now gone so far down the road of gouache and watercolour that can be re-wet, when I use acrylic, I have to be very mindful of only putting out a pea-sized blob, and I can put more out if I need it. Otherwise, it is a terrific waste of paint. And yeah, I will waste the paint. so I don't want to waste it. So yeah, sheep, love sheep. Another scene here. I really love the atmosphere back here and the depth you can get. And again, coloured pencils coming up back in with my Derwent drawing pencils here to get these effects on the rocks. Another one, just a mountain scene. Again, playing with the limits of the medium. What can I do? What can't I do? What's going to look horrible? What do I have to cross out and pretend never happened? This one here, I like that. All sorts. It's just so velvety and it goes so well with mixed media applications. Here again, another prompt. It's not bad. Don't love it. It's I think you can see the split personality here of what I normally do and what I enjoy doing and what I can do if I'm forced. I don't want to, yeah, it's just not me. Back to me. Back to what I like. Love this. Love the light. I love light and shadows. When I can put light and shadow into my work and really deep shadows and really light lights, it's very nice. This was fabulous. I painted this first and then I spilt. You can see a little bit of yellow paint there. I spilt yellow paint right across. You can see a bit there and a bit there, and I put yellow paint there, and yeah, as you do. So I had to repair a strip right across the middle, which worked okay. It's not amazing, but it worked okay. But I love the depth. I like these foresty scenes that don't have anything in particular in them. There's no actual subject. It's just the textures on the tree trunks and this foreground foliage that makes all the difference. Here again, the dark foreground, really, really quite like that effect. Seascape. And this was flat gouache, and then I came back in when it was dry with a fine liner and added wood texture. And these grasses, they took forever, but it's worth it. Here again, a bit of wood texture, really bright sun in the background there, and lots of texture on the stone wall. Plenty of grass, and again, dark in the foreground. Dark in the foreground is my favourite thing, to be fair. It really, really does give the picture something. This one, just houses, just because I felt like putting some paint on paper. This was a shadow fest because I wanted to have lovely shadows on the beach. You know, those sorts of really deep shadows as you walk down towards the sea. So that was the deal there. And also practicing these sorts of branches. It's so zen just to sit and paint endless branches. Maybe I need therapy. Well, that's what this is supposed to be, so it's not working, is it? I like this one because, again, it's got these shadows, the dark foreground, the shadows, all the grasses and hedgerow detail. And I enjoyed particularly here not just having a shadow that blocked everything out, but a shadow that made the details there darker. So the details were still there. You can still see blades of grass and still see the little pebbly rocks on the path. But, you know, some wild flowers and just bits and pieces. Stuff to get lost in, I'm hoping. Scottish bridge somewhere, misty. This one was an exercise in dry brushing. So I always, back in the day, and I'm talking the 1990s here, where I taught folk art and decorative painting, and a lot of the things that I taught were soft dry brushing techniques to, you know, for whatever you might want that for, a glow-on fruit or teddy bear fur or whatever it was you're painting. But it works beautifully for clouds as well, and it makes it quite nice and atmospheric. There's other ways of getting it as well, but I wanted to see if I could get it with gouache. And I guess what I was trying to do here is to see if I could get this down to just one medium. Whereas I know I like being a mixed media artist, and I don't know why I keep trying not to be, but I tried to do these with as little other stuff as possible. Almost succeeded, actually. I think some of these have got very little other stuff. This has got some coloured pencil because I can't resist. Here again, nice village in England somewhere, just anywhere, Britain. This was I think it was no, it wasn't. I'm thinking of something else. This was one of my family's holiday photos. So yeah, I thought, well, I'll do that. I didn't go on their holiday, but I'll have the photo and I'll paint that instead. And that's it. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that and having a look and seeing how many different styles one artist can achieve. And it's kind of important when you're looking at yourself and trying, some people get super hung up on not having a painting style or an art style. Sometimes the answer could be to have several. And for example, when I do birds and animals and flowers, I really enjoy doing collage, because here's painting a bird, yeah, there's a bird. Here's painting a plant. Here is, if I can just reach over and grab this, this is a daffodil I'm working on for collage. Now, to me, that's just got so much more depth, and I really love that. I love this too in its place, but I have a different style for, like I said, this is my people painting style. This is my landscape and seascape painting style. Then I do this with my collage and lots of other things as well. If I can just grab a book here with a collage I finished yesterday, because it's springtime. Not my usual palette, it's a little bit sort of pretty. My usual palette's more muted, but these are my collage birds. So as you can see here, these are all done by the same person, all the different possibilities of different styles that you can have, and you don't have to choose one. Art is art, and it is intensely personal. It's what you make it, it's what you want it to be, and I think that's what makes it special, because it's a lasting legacy, and you can show multiple feelings and multiple parts of your personality, your talent and your ability by having different things, different styles to depict different subjects. Right, if you've enjoyed that, please don't forget to subscribe and like. That really, really helps my channel to grow. And if you want to learn to make art the way I do, in any of these styles, because I teach all of them, then do check out my Patreon, because it is quite it's quite an experience, and we go through all the mixed media and all the ways that you can use each one, so you can pick which sort of one you want, or do them all. You do you. Have a great day. Thank you very much for staying with me, and I will see you again very soon. I've just put in an enormous art order, even though I told myself I was on a ban. Apparently I didn't listen, so that's happened, and you'll see that here at some point. Okay, talk soon. Bye.